This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather Ho, there's Jeff Carter, and welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy for today, December the 11th, is a man who was made to be the greatest Vancouver Grizzly of all time. I know that the Vancouver Grizzlies don't get mentioned much on the positive side, but I might as well give the Grizzlies some things anyway. So he's 45 years old, Shareef Abdul Rahim. He's president of the G League. That is the minor leagues of the NBA, if you will. So he played for the University of California for 1 year. And looked good. He was the Pac-10 freshman of the year, but he decided to go to college. And he picked the right time because the 96 NBA draft was stacked, like really stacked. The number 1 pick went to the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, traditionally, it could have been the Raptors and Grizzlies having a chance at the number 1 pick because of their bad records. However, because of the expansion team, and David Stern did not want the expansion teams getting the first or second picks, at least for a few years. The number 1 pick for a few years happened. I remember watching that draft lottery live, and then when Vancouver got picked 3rd, I think it was Ahmad Rashad who said, well, that means the Raptors will pick 2nd and the Sixers will pick 1st because, they didn't want an expansion team picking 1st overall a couple straight years. Kind of stupid, don't you think? Anyway, the 96 draft was stacked. Philly took Allen Iverson and Toronto took Marcus Camby. Vancouver was next on the clock, and they took Shareef Abdul Rahim. They could have taken Stephon Marbury, they could have taken Ray Allen. But no, they took Abdul Rahim. They wanted him to make an impact for the Vancouver Grizzlies. He did. He was leading scorer. He ended up 3rd in Rookie of the Year behind AI and Stephon Marbury. Oh yeah, this was the 97 time. I was going to say Damon Stoudemire won in 96, but no, this was 1997. So AI and Marbury beat him to it. He was on the rookie first team, and he looked pretty good, helping the Grizzlies out. Of course, the Grizzlies didn't really have that many good players. Anyway, for the next few years, he was the centerpiece. He would average 22 points a game in his sophomore season, and then the following season, 23 points. Unfortunately, the Grizzlies were just terrible and all that. Abdul Rahim put up at least 20 points a game for another season, 4th straight season for the Grizzlies, and helped the Grizzlies out. Unfortunately, though, the Grizzlies were in trouble, financially and otherwise. Atlanta got Abdul Rahim and the 27th pick from the Grizzlies in exchange for Brevin Knight, Lorenzen Wright, Pau Gasol, and Pau Gasol, the 3rd pick in the 2001 NBA draft. So the Hawks drafted Pau Gasol, and then they traded him to the Grizzlies, where he was decent for the Grizzlies. And, of course, 8 years later on, after he left Memphis for Los Angeles, he did win a title for the Toronto Raptors. Oh, wait, that's Marc Gasol. Fuck me. Gasol was a Lakers icon, too. Abdul Rahim went to his hometown, and they expected him and Jason Terry to have some buzz around the league. The rest of the Grizzlies would move from Vancouver to Memphis. Pardon. I forgot to mention that in 2000, he was part of the Olympics team. I'm actually surprised. But Atlanta did not do well in the 2002 season. He got to the NBA All-Star team, but the Hawks were 16 games below 500. Abdul Rahim became the 6th youngest player to hit 10,000 points. Well, at that time, of course, I think there were a lot of people younger. Abdul Rahim, alongside Jason Terry and Glenn Robinson, looked good, helping the Hawks out, scoring points. Unfortunately, the Hawks could not make the playoffs and all that. The Hawks decided to get rid of Abdul Rahim, and he was sent to Portland alongside Phil Ratliff for Rasheed Wallace. It's weird how Rasheed Wallace was an Atlanta Hawk before he was a Detroit Piston. I think Atlanta then traded him the next day. I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, Rasheed Wallace played for the 2004 Pistons. I knew that. Anyway, he had no major impact for Portland and all that. He was actually sent by a sign and trade. in principle, he was traded to New Jersey for a first-round pick, which Portland then decided we're going to trade to Phoenix for Leandro Barbosa. Unfortunately, that did not work out as he failed a physical, so the trade had to be put on hold. And New Jersey had to rescind the trade. So Leandro Barbosa could have been a Portland Trailblazer. And he, Phoenix. Abdul Rahim then decided to sign a free agent contract with Sacramento. And, well, he helped the Kings make the playoffs. And finally, Abdul Rahim would make the playoff. He actually had the most games in NBA history without participating in the postseason before playing for the 2006 Kings, who made the playoffs. So that streak was over. He was basically a sixth man. He retired in 2008, but would be assistant GM of the Sacramento Kings. So, oh yeah, I guess because Abdul Rahim was actually a replacement for an injured Grant Hill, so that was good. So anyway, Abdul Rahim played 830 games in his career with Vancouver, Atlanta, Portland, and Sacramento. 18.1 points a game, 7.5 rebounds a game. So anyway, playoff-wise, 6 games, 9.2 points, 4.8 rebounds a game. You know, he was with Sacramento for a while, and then he became the president of the G League. He and his wife have 2 children, and his son Jabari is actually a high school class and committed to play for Virginia. Now he's playing for the University of Georgia. Makes sense. Abdul Rahim actually went back to UC Berkeley to get his degree in sociology. So good for him. And good for him for being one of the best Vancouver Grizzlies of all time, if not the best. Probably not. Big Country Reese was better than him. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.